Welcome all my fellow Washington brethren and sisterin. I am your man and resident Washington football team fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Washington Football Report, a special Washington Football Report, as we're continuing our series of positional rankings around the National Football League for the Washington football team, where they rank amongst the league and specifically where they rank inside of the division, the NFC East. So we've talked about the quarterback position. We've talked about the running back position. Now we mosey our way to the wide receiver position, one that we are excited about. Wasn't as excited about it last year going into the season. A lot more excited about this position and a ton of depth and competition at this position. But where does that mean that Washington falls amongst the league, and where does that put them in this division? I think it's a great conversation to have, one that I think we will debate about all night long. Okay? All night long. Remix. All night. Oh. All night long. All night. All night. Don't want you here all night, though. So I'm going to get you straight to the proceedings this evening. Let's jump into where Washington ranks in the NFC East first. And so we start with the team that I believe is the most harmless at this current juncture, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let me give you this caveat, however. They're the team in the division, wide receiver-wise, that could surprise everyone. They've got the most, I think, chance to take a massive leap forward in this division. Okay, Washington, I think, may have a bigger chance to take an even bigger leap, but people are expecting Washington to take that leap. I don't think people are expecting this Eagles group to do the same, and I think you may be wrong there. Here's why. Devontae Smith being drafted in the first round gives the Eagles a bona fide number one wide receiver. I did not think Jalen Reagor was that. And obviously by the Eagles doing what they did, moving up to get Devontae Smith, it speaks volumes as to how they feel about Jalen Reagor as well. Almost as if they're admitting a mistake. Not necessarily saying we messed up last year, but they know they should have taken Justin Jefferson. That's nor here nor there. That's already happened. You can't change that. So they went and corrected a mistake by going and getting Devontae Smith. He's a true number one wide receiver. What that does is it takes Jalen Reagor, makes him what he's supposed to be in this league, which is a number two. Now, I think it slots Travis Fulgham where he's supposed to be, which is a number three. And now you get the guys that you drafted in last year's draft later on, Quez Watkins and John Hightower. Those are fourth options in this league. They were posing as twos and threes last year out of necessity. Greg Ward is another guy that can give you some stuff. They've got some guys here. So they've got an interesting mix. They've now got a bona fide number one and number two, I believe. So look out for the Eagles. That said, they're still at the bottom of the NFC East at the wide receiver position. Why is that? Because the Giants made drastic improvements to their wide receiver group. They were very lackluster a year ago, and they went out, spent some draft capital and some free agent dollars at the position, and they look like a vastly different team at the receiver position. Obviously, you start with the acquisition and free agency of Kenny Golladay. He's a bona fide number one wide receiver, has proven to be that in this league. Has to stay healthy, obviously, but if he's healthy, he may be the best receiver in this division. That's not a guarantee. I'd take Terry and match him up with Kenny Golladay one-on-one and say, hey, let's see who's the best of the best. Obviously, Amari Cooper's like, hey, don't forget about me. But Golladay is now in that discussion as the best receiver in the division. He's going to have to prove it, though. However, he's a legit number one. I really like what Darius Slayton has done early in his career. I thought it was a step back year last year, but he was banged up. He was hurt. But I think he's got the potential to be a legitimate number two. He was posing as a number one this entire time, and that's not who he is. So now he's a number two. You get Sterling Shepard healthy. He's a legitimate number three. You added Kadarius Toney. He's not even a real wide receiver. He's still trying to figure some shit out. He's dynamic. He could be your two. He could be your three. You don't really know what he's going to be. He's a playmaker if he's healthy and his head is screwed on straight. And then they said, let's sprinkle in a little John Ross just in case Kadarius Toney isn't necessarily ready for the show. We got another guy that can run really, really fast in John Ross. They've got a lot of stuff in New York with this Giants roster. I think it's a very interesting group, top to bottom. And so I think they've made huge strides. That said, give me my guys over the Giants. I think the Giants are your third-rated receiver group because to me, Kenny Golladay and Terry McLaurin cancel one another out. And then after that, I think, you go Curtis Samuel and Darius Slayton. Give me Curtis Samuel. You go their rookie, Kadarius Toney, our rookie, De'Ami Brown. A lot of people say, give me Kadarius Toney. No, give me the more polished receiver. Give me the guy that's actually a wide receiver in De'Ami Brown. Give me my guy instead of their guy. And, a lot of you love Kadarius Toney. I'm not the biggest Kadarius Toney fan. I know the guy's talented, but I'm not the biggest Kadarius Toney fan. I told you, he's more like Curtis Samuel than he is, De'Ami Brown. So really, it'd probably be a more apt comparison to say Kadarius Toney or Curtis Samuel because I compared the two to one another. I think they're one and the same. And honestly, Curtis Samuel's been doing it longer than Kadarius Toney, so give me our guy. And then Darius Slayton versus De'Ami Brown, well, their guy's been doing it longer than ours, so you would give them the nod. I think our guy may have the higher upside, but we'll see. Bottom line is, as we continue going on, Sterling Shepard versus Adam Humphries, you're splitting hairs there, okay? But then you get to the end of that line and you go Cam Sims, and who do they have after that? They don't have anybody. So that's where I think we finally take over there. And so that's why I think you give us the nod, because we're just deeper than the Giants. It's really close, but we're deeper than the Giants, I believe. And then finally, the best group in the division is the Dallas Cowboys. God damn it, the dirty Dallas Cowboys, the dirty dick dastardly Dallas Cowboys again. They link us. All right, they got us at the running back position. They got us at the quarterback position. Now they're getting us again at the receiver position. But this is not new news to you. I've been telling you this all offseason. The Cowboys are the most talented team in the division. And it's really more so on the offensive side of football, not on the defensive side of football. So there is a debate to be had as to whether their roster is actually truly better than ours. That said, they got the most important position in order, which we do not, which is quarterback, which puts them head and shoulders above us. That said, we can have an argument here. There's a discussion to be had about the receiver position in Dallas versus Washington. At the end of the day, this is where I just dropped the mic. Okay, we've got 1,000-yard receiver. Let me just say this. I would take Terry McLaurin over all three of their guys. All three of their big three, I would take Terry over every single one of those guys. That said, we got 1,000-yard receiver in Terry McLaurin. They got three. Drop the mic, walk away, don't pick it up. Okay? I don't want to hear, well, they got three guys, but we got this guy. No. Stop. They got 3,000-yard receivers. We got one. We got one guy, and then we got two guys that we think can be 1,000-yard receivers. They got three guys that have already done it in the NFL. Okay? Essentially. I'm not sure if CeeDee Lamb did that in his rookie season. Probably did not. He's going to get 1,000 yards. So if we're going to be technical, they got 2,000-yard receivers, and they got another guy that's well on his way to 1,000 yards. So either way you want to slice it, they're better than us. Now, if we get to the depth part of things, we might be able to make up some ground, but not enough. Not when you're talking about three guys that have the potential to be 1,000-yard receivers, two that have already done it multiple times, and one guy that's well on his way, where we've got one guy and we got a second guy that we think could be a 1,000-yard receiver, and a third guy that, rookie, we'll see what he does, but we can't be sure about that. We don't know. All right, so at the end of the day, Cowboys are deeper than we are at the top where the substance is. I think we get them towards the bottom of their receiver group, but that's not enough to make up the ground that they have at the top of the list. So Cowboys are your number one wide receiver group in the NFC East. So with that said, where does Washington rank in the entire league, however? As excited as we are, a lot of you probably think, well, we're a top 10 wide receiver positional group, right? Right? Wrong. We're not far off, though. I have us rated as the 12th wide receiver group in the National Football League And here's why. Let's go through the list. And you tell me where I messed this up. And you tell me where you would have made some changes. Let's go through the list real quick. So, Arizona Cardinals, they got DeAndre Hopkins. Again, you take 2 steps and then you get to Terry. So, just off of the fact that that's the starting guy, that's tough to overcome. But then they throw in some, it's A.J. Green. Is he the A.J. Green from 4 or 5 years ago? No, but we don't know. Maybe there's a resurgence. I don't think he's done. But we'll see. He didn't look all that great in Cincinnati last year, but he's coming off of essentially not playing football in almost 2 years. So there was, an expected lag last year. Let's see if he bounces back. But they still got Kirk, Christian Kirk. They still got Andy Isabella. They still got a whole bunch of guys. And they drafted Rondale Moore as well. So give me the Cardinals over us. Atlanta Falcons. Without Julio, I can't put them ahead of us. Can't do it. Won't do it. Give me our guys over the Atlanta Falcons group of receivers. Same with the Baltimore Ravens, even though they added Samuel Watkins. When's the last time that man's played 12 games in a season? When's the last time that man played 13 games, 14? I don't need to continue. He doesn't play full seasons. Hell, he rarely plays half of a season. So adding him to the mix, it helps, but how healthy is he really going to be? They added Rashad Bateman. I love Hollywood Brown. But is that enough? You're dealing with a guy that rarely plays, a rookie, and a guy that's still trying to hit his stride in the league. Give me my guys instead. None of those guys are better than Terry. And I'll take my ancillary guys over their guys. Give me our guys over the Ravens crop of receivers. The Bills, can't mess with it. They've got 2,000-yard receivers. They got the best receiver in football if you're going off of last year's statistics in Stephon Diggs. And they've got Cole Beasley. That's 2,000-yard receivers right there. Gabe Davis showed off last year as a rookie. They've got a lot of stuff. And I think they added Emmanuel Sanders, if I'm not mistaken. They got E-Man saying it's not even close. Bills are better than us. Panthers are better than us. I know that sounds crazy because we just took Curtis Samuel from them, but they still got 2,000-yard receivers. Robbie Anderson went over 1,000 last year. So did DJ Moore. Okay, so we took the third out of the group of 3 receivers. We took their 3rd best receiver from them, and we're making him our 2nd best receiver. They're looking at us like, oh, well, we still got 2 better than the guy we just gave you. So if you look at it from that perspective, and they drafted a kid that I absolutely love from LSU in the 2nd round, I view the Panthers as a better wide receiver group than the one we put on the field. Again, their first 2 are better than our first 2. Terry is better than any one of their top 2 receivers, but it's close, right? Terry doesn't blow them out of the water, and then their 2 receivers are better than Curtis Samuel, and then I think their rookie receiver is better than our rookie receiver, but we don't know. We'll see. Obviously, time will tell on that, but I think they've got a better group than we do overall. Bears. They got Allen Robinson, man. And that's one of those, take a couple of steps and then you get to Terry. But after that, I don't love what they put out on the field, man. They got a bunch of guys that I was excited about coming into the league, and you could probably blame some of that on the quarterback position and the lack of consistency that they've gotten there, and that's why some of those guys haven't performed. I love what Darnell Mooney did as a rookie. That said, when you look at what we have versus what they have, and I just think our collection of talent is better than theirs. We've got again, he's got to stay healthy in Adam Humphries, but we got a slot receiver. They really don't have a guy that's consistent inside. I'll take our guys. I don't need to explain it any further. They got Allen Robinson. We got the rest of the shit. Give me our guys over the Bears. Bengals, same thing. I love the. This one was tough. I went back and forth on this one because none of their receivers are better than Terry. So we start there. Terry gives us the nod there. But after that, they got Tyler Boyd, Mr. Consistency. He's better than our 2nd receiver, but he was really their 1. But they just drafted a guy to be number 1. We don't know what he's going to be, but I think he's going to be a stud. Okay, and Jamar Chase. So, again, we can't go off of that, though. He's got to come in and prove it. So, you're going Mr. Consistency, Tyler Boyd. You're going with what their 2nd-year receiver did as a rookie. Last year, he was really good, the rookie from Clemson. They got stuff over there, man. Okay? A lot of it. almost to the point where I was like, I might give them the nod, but I can't do it. I can't do it. If Ja'Marr Chase is what I think he is, then they'd be better than us. But he's got to prove it first. I think we got enough to hold those guys off. Give me our guys over Cincinnati. The Browns, here's the deal. If Odell Beckham Jr. is healthy, and I'm assuming health, their group is probably better than ours. But this is what I said. So Terry and Odell Beckham Jr., they cancel each other out, essentially. Beckham is probably one step ahead of Terry when healthy. You take a step, and then it's Odell, then it's Terry. Odell, and then take a step, and then it's Terry. But it's close enough that we could start to examine the other guys. And so what I looked at is I said, they've got Jarvis Landry, right? We've got Curtis Samuel. Jarvis Landry is better than Curtis Samuel. But if you look at Jarvis Landry's numbers, man, they don't blow you away. They don't blow you away. But he's better. He's a better overall wide receiver than Curtis Samuel. But then I said, okay, that's still close. We're still close. What do they have after that? And that's where I think we start to separate ourselves. You got a rookie that you like. Don't want to throw him in the mix, but he's a part of the conversation. But you got Adam Humphries and you got Cam Sims. I just don't think they have enough after you get past the first two. And our first two are close enough that it's a real discussion. I give the nod to us because of the depth. I think our depth wins out over the substance of the Cleveland Browns. Dallas, we've already talked about them being better than us. Denver, I don't even think this is close. They've got speed. They've got production. They've got height. They've got everything you're looking for. They've got it all in one nice, neat wide receiver room package. CeeDee Lamb, well, not CeeDee Lamb, the Alabama receiver, oh my gosh, Jerry Jeudy, dropped 1 million balls last year, still damn near had 1,000 yards receiving, okay? That's how good that young man is going to be. If he catches the football, he got over 1,000 yards last year, okay? They've got a guy, Tim Patrick, that I was thirsty for this offseason. You remember I kept saying, hey, if they don't re-sign Tim Patrick, which they ultimately offered him, he was a restricted free agent, they tendered him, so he's still in Denver. And they did all of this without Cortland Sutton, who is their best wide receiver. They got KJ Hamler. They got a bunch of stuff. We ain't messing with them. Essentially what I'm telling you is we ain't fooling with those boys. They got too much stuff. So they got the nod. Detroit Lions, it's not even a conversation. We've got them dwarfed. The Houston Tech or the Green Bay Packers, I love Devontae Adams, and he's better than Terry. But after that, we got him, okay? They got nothing after Devontae Adams, which is amazing that Aaron Rodgers does what he does, but he's Aaron Rodgers, and that's why they haven't invested in the position as much as they should have, because they know Aaron's going to take care of business. So I take our guys over their guys. After Devontae Adams, we got them beat. So give me our guys over the Packers receivers. Texans, not a discussion to be had. We're better. Indianapolis Colts, I love our stuff. They don't have a true number one wide receiver because T.Y. Hilton, Eugene, he's on the downside of his career. If last year's an indication of where he's going, he's on the downside of his career. So they don't have a true number one right now, I don't think. And they got a bunch of guys that have talent, but they're always injured. I like what we saw from their young receiver going into his second year out of USC, Michael Pittman, but he's not better than Terry. Our collection of stuff is better than their collection of stuff. Give me our guys over Indianapolis. Jacksonville Jaguars, same deal. They've got some talent. They're not better than us. They don't have a receiver better than Terry. Give me our guys over Jacksonville. Chiefs, this is crazy. I'm going to say something crazy here. You're going to think I'm crazy. Give me our guys over the Kansas City Chiefs. Hear me out. Now, Tyreek Hill, take 2 or 3 steps, okay, and then get to Terry. He's way better than Terry. That's not up for debate, okay? However, they don't have Samuel Watkins anymore, all right? They don't have a bunch of receivers. You go look at the Chiefs receiver room and you go, okay, Tyreek Hill, that's a given. Mecole Hardman? I don't even know if he's better than Curtis Samuel, all right? Now, the upside might be greater, okay? But I don't know if he's better than Curtis Samuel. So now I'm saying, all right, so I'm going to give you Tyreek Hill, but Terry after that, you throw in Curtis Samuel. Adam Humphries is more consistent than anything they got after the first two their receivers. Cam Sims, they would die to have Cam Sims on their roster, okay? De'Ami Brown is better than any young receiver that they have. And they drafted a kid out of, I want to say out of LSU. Might have been Clemson, one of the two. Either way, our stuff is better overall, okay? Overall. So after Tyreek Hill, we got him. We got him. Give me our guys over the Chiefs receivers. But that's the gift of having one of these quarterbacks. I just told you that we have better receivers than the Chiefs and the Packers. Okay? The reason you can get away with that is because they've got arguably the two best quarterbacks in the league. You can get away with not having the greatest group of receivers. We're not there. We got to have the receivers because we don't have a quarterback. Anyway, I digress. Chargers. Again, might sound crazy to some of y'all. Chargers, receivers. You got Mike Williams and you have KA13, Keenan Allen. Allen, beast, stud, Mr. Consistency. When healthy, one of the better receivers, very underrated. And Mike Williams can go up and get the football, 50-50s, down the field, big play threat, all of that good jazz. Those guys are legitimate, right? After those guys, and again, I know somebody, Chargers fans be like, man, you tripping. Give me Terry over both of those dudes. Keenan Allen, proficient a route runner as you get in the league, doesn't have the top end speed. Give me Terry. Okay, give me my guy over their two guys. However, it's close. You're splitting hairs. All right. Mike Williams is better than anything we have after Terry, right? But then after that, what do they have? They got some speed, Jalen Guyton and all these. They got guys that can run, but I'm not afraid of those dudes. I'll take Adam Humphries. I'll take Cam Sims. I'll take De'Ami Brown as a young guy. They drafted a young guy out of Tennessee. Give me my young guy over theirs. I like our group. After their first two, I like our group. And again, our first two make it interesting enough that we can start comparing the rest of the group. Our guys are better. Give me our guys over the Chargers receivers. Rams, they got us beat. They just got too much stuff. They got 2,000-yard receivers in Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. That's 2,000-yard receivers. That's more than we have. We can't contest with that. But then you add in Van Jefferson as a third-year receiver, and I think they got one more guy that I'm like, they just got Tutu Atwell as a rookie. It's just a lot of stuff, man. And I think they got one more receiver in free agency that is a solid guy. Not going to knock your socks off, but just adds more depth to that room. I'll take the Rams receivers over. It was close. I waffled back and forth, but I give the nod to the Rams top two wide receivers, and there's the total depth of their room. I think it's very comparable to ours, and then that's when you go back to the top two receivers. They're just better than our top two receivers as a whole. So Raiders, we got them beat. That's not a real discussion at this point. Dolphins, man, they might be the most talented group of receivers in the league, honestly. I don't even think this is a conversation we need to have. But just because some of you don't know what the Dolphins are packing right now, you don't know what they got under their shirt, I'm going to lift up their shirt and show you what they got so you could just go, oh, okay. I didn't know it was like that, homie. So, obviously, they just drafted Jalen Waddle in the first round. Okay. He's a rookie. So, you know what we do with them. We stash those boys away. We don't really want to talk about him, but we know what he is. But he got to prove it, right? Fine. They got other dudes, man. All right, so Devontae Parker, 1,000-yard receiver, stud when he's healthy in the league. All right, they've got Preston Williams. He's pretty much comparable to what we have in Cam Sims. I think he's a better version of Cam Sims, but okay, they canceled each other out. All right, they got Albert Wilson coming back. They got Jakeem Grant, both of which are better than Adam Humphries. And then I didn't even throw this in because this guy, he's right there with Terry, okay? They signed William Fuller the fifth, okay? Will Fuller the fifth in free agency just to put a little cherry on top. So you got 2,000-yard receivers, a third guy that is ascending when healthy, and a bunch of other guys that can really be problematic. They got a ton of speed. They got height. They got everything. It's not close. The Dolphins are better than us all around. So you go through these next group of receiver groups, and we smoke them all. Vikings. That's not a smoke conversation, but it's really just a lack of depth. So they got 2,000-yard receivers. Justin Jefferson came in and tore the roof off the damn NFL last year as a rookie, over 1,400 yards receiving. One of the greatest rookie seasons we've seen from a receiver in NFL history. He did that last year. We know what Adam Thielen is. When he's healthy and he's right, he's dynamic. In his own right, he's a former 1,000-yard receiver. So that's 2,000-yard dudes right there. After that, though, they got nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean they absolutely have nothing. Okay? That's why we find a way to sneak back in and take the lead on them. Because we got Terry, all right, and I honestly think that their number one, Justin Jefferson, is better than our number one in Terry, but it's not a blowout, but they got the nod. Their number two is better than anything else we got on our roster at receiver, but then after that, we clobber them. They got nothing for us. You know, Adam Humphries, De'Ami Brown, Cam Sims, nothing. We could take one of the dudes that we don't even think is going to make the roster, and it'll probably be an upgrade for them. We put Steven Sims on their team. He's their third best receiver. That's how they live in Minnesota right now. So give me our guys over their guys. With the Patriots, they signed 87 receivers in free agency, and this is what it did to the wide receiver needle. Case closed. You go to the next team, New Orleans Saints. They got Michael Thomas. He's coming off of a rough season, man. Rough year. Didn't even know if he was going to be in New Orleans. That said, when he's right, we know what this guy is capable of. But who's after him? Traquan Smith? Like, who am I supposed to be excited about? You know, they got nothing after, you know, their top receiver in Michael Thomas. So for me, the nod goes to Washington pretty easily and handily. The next team is the Giants. We already talked about that. The Jets, they got stuff. Jamison Crowder, you know, they drafted a kid out of Baylor last year. You know, still kind of waiting to see what he's going to be. You know, they spent some more draft capital this year at the receiver position. One of the guys that I loved, Elijah Moore, I think he's going to be a stud in this league, but he's a rookie. Like, they don't have enough stuff. So that's not a real conversation. We're better than the Jets at this point. Philadelphia Eagles, already talked about them. Steelers. I thought about this one long and hard because on the surface, you just go, oh, the Steelers are better than us. But when you analyze the numbers, it's not that different. However, I first of all, let me say this. I'll take Terry over all three of their top receivers. All three of them. To me, not even close. Give me Terry over all of those dudes. That said, those three receivers, collectively, and I'm talking Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm talking about Deontay Johnson, and I'm talking about Chase Claypool. All right. Collectively, I don't know if you find a better top three in the league than those three. And then I didn't even throw in James Washington, who is probably the best fourth option in the league. So I just told you that as a whole, we got nothing for them. Totality-wise, we got nothing for those boys. Chase Claypool came in and lit it up last year. We know Deontay Johnson has the ability to light it up. We saw that, and he dropped it a million times. If he just catches the damn ball, he's a stud. And we know what Juju Smith-Schuster is. So, as a whole, they got us. The 49ers, not. I think they got some talent, but none of those guys are better than our guys. Seattle Seahawks, this is a big debatable one because it's DK Metcalf, 1,000-yard receiver. One of my favorite receivers in the league that doesn't get enough credit is Tyler Lockett, 1,000-yard receiver there. And then they went out and they drafted Dwayne Eskridge out of Western Kentucky, and I think he's got a chance to be a steal for them in the third round. I believe they got him in the third round, maybe late second. Either way, just those three alone, and I know he's a rookie, so I don't want to put too much stock there. But they got a kid, Freddie Swain from Florida that was a rookie last year that did some good things. They've got enough stuff to hold us off. Their top two is better than our top two. Period. End of discussion. And the depth of their room, they got a rookie that they like. We got a rookie we like. I think Adam Humphries is better, and Cam Sims may be better than anything else they have. But I think the space that they created at the top of their group with Lockett and Metcalf is enough to keep us at bay as we try to come back and make it a competition towards the back end of our wide receiver room. So the Seahawks get the nod. They're better than us. Buccaneers, that's not a debate. They're better than us. And the Titans, with the addition of Julio, they're better than us. So that's how we end up as the 12th wide receiver group in the league. That's not bad, guys. I mean, we're right there. You know, there's some arguments to be had. Some teams we maybe could be higher than. There are easily some teams that you could argue we're lower than that I gave us the nod against. But that's the way I view it. We are second in the division at the receiver group, and we are 12th in the league. We are on the rise at the receiver position. What says you? Where do you think this group ranks? Is it a top 10 receiver group? Are they right outside the top 10 like I have them? Or do you think they're a lot further down and I'm giving them a little bit too much credit? You leave it in the comment section. Can't wait to read your responses to where I have this group as a whole in the league, and specifically, maybe even more importantly to most of you, in the division. With that said, I am a Washington fan, Ashton Burgundy and Gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington football team. Looking forward to your comments. Do me a favor. Please go ahead and touch that like button. Go ahead and caress the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And also make sure that you do me a huge favor and molest the notification bell so you don't miss a thing here on the Louie T Network. With that said, I'm your man, Louie T. Gonna go ahead and glide to the side and get out of here. Get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T, as we continue on this crash course of all the positions in the league and where Washington ranks. We are almost done with the offense. We've got to take care of the tight end position in the offensive line, and we'll head to a side of the ball where we think we're going to rank pretty damn high in just about every position, but we'll see. We'll see. Looks can be deceiving. That said, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you leave it in the comment section, like the video, turn on your subscription and notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
LouieTeeNetwork.